Hey y'all, welcome back. I'm Leah. I'm a former farm girl. I grew up on a 250-acre farm in Georgia. Now I'm growing most of my family's food on less than an acre. Come with me today as I show you our second garden tour of the 2025 gardening year. I was cleaning this morning and I looked out our front door and I saw this beautiful iris. It's peach and purple. It is so stunning. You can see in the background I still have some seedlings that I haven't planted out yet. Mostly peppers and the extra tomatoes that I started, and melons. Our patio peach tree that I picked up last year is already fruiting. I have sweet potato slips started, olive tree, the other fruit trees. The grapefruit is still unhappy. I don't remember if it was unhappy when you guys saw it last or not. I'm hoping that this year is the year that I finally get to taste a pink lemon off of our variegated lemon tree. These are our fruit trees here. Just a little quick tour. Not a whole lot to see yet. I'm learning. Don't know if it's me or if it's that they're young trees, but there's not a lot on them. Now, over here is a different story. Look at these blueberry bushes. Just loaded with fruit this year. Now, I've never fought a bird, but if I have to, I will for these blueberries. I haven't installed the trellis yet, but I picked up 2 thornless blackberries. They're in front of these smaller blueberry bushes and some elderberry. And there are 2 raspberry, where those flags are, 2 raspberry. We have a raspberry at the end and more thornless blackberries. Thornless blackberries. Got a few different varieties here. The one thing I'm trying to focus on this year is growing more fruit, because we're all fruit fanatics in this house. This is comfrey. I'm going to try to break it up and plant it under the fruit trees, because if you chop and drop these leaves, all of the nitrogen that it pulls up from the soil can be used in minerals, can be used to fertilize your fruit trees. These, oh look, let me show you. When I was a little girl, my aunt and my mother used to put ant poison all over their peonies, because they would see these ants on the peonies every year and they thought they were probably damaging them. But they don't. It's just a symbiotic relationship that the peonies have with the ants. So, if you see ants on your peony flowers, just leave them alone. This is one plant that they're not bothering, unlike my broccoli. Ooh, this one's about to bloom. Can't wait to show you. Our pinata rose surprised me and is just knockout gorgeous, just overnight. And it will bloom several times through this season. I may be mistaken, but I think I picked these up at Costco a couple of years ago. Came in a 2-pack. And they are just showstoppers in the garden. Our dwarf mulberry tree has fruit on it for the first time. We've had this tree for probably 2 seasons now. If we come down toward my green stalk planter, you can see the variegated iris in the back is about to bloom for the first time. And these beautiful purple irises are blooming, and they are the best smelling things. Moving over, we've got mugwort, which is an herb, some chives, white horehound, I mostly do herbs in these planters now. Basil that I picked up at our local plant sale. Purslane that I started from seed. And on top, we have the strawberries. Do you see what I see? On top of the green stalks, I have strawberries, and they are just starting to ripen fruit. These chives are incredible. Since we last spoke, I have looked these up, and they have bloomed, which makes them easier to recognize. These flowers are Sweet William. I had them from a wildflower seed mix last year, and several of these others here have yet to bloom for the first time, so we will see what they become. This end of the garden is mostly herbs or flowers. It makes a nice little end cap for people walking by on this sidewalk that leads up to our front door. We have cilantro, lemon thyme, dill, some Egyptian walking onions, and they are really neat because, as you can see, let me see if I can get a little closer. What is neat about the Egyptian walking onions is that when this top bit gets heavy, it will fall to the ground and it will root directly from this top bit, and it will create a whole new cluster of onions just from touching the ground. You can eat them as they are, like that, as like a little pearl onion, or you can just perpetually have onions forever. It's pretty great. I'm thinking this is rosemary. I don't remember planting rosemary, but it looks like rosemary. And we've got the cilantro behind the onions and dill for days, because once it gets hot, it will be gone. So if we're looking at the garden from this angle, here are the onions that I showed you last time. It's mostly onions along the front. And then 2-3 rows of potatoes. They're getting quite big now, so it's hard to see where one row begins and another ends. And since we last spoke, I have planted out seedlings. As you can see, right there is a gourd plant. That one's a zucca gourd, and it will hopefully create this 2 or 3 foot long tube-shaped gourd that's like 10 inches wide. Looks like a giant zucchini. So as we walk along under the double-decker archway, I've got a zucca gourd. Then I've planted seeds for spaghetti squash, and look, going crazy. These are weeds technically, but it's mullein. It's an herb that I planted here last year, and it has almost all of this is mullein that seeded itself from 2 mullein plants that were side by side here. That other gourd here is this one is a snake bean. I bought the seeds from Baker Creek. If you have any tips, please let me know, because this is the first time I'm growing these. Continuing down the row, we have Cuckoozy gourds. Here, they're fun to grow. I have a picture from when one of my kids was a toddler and the gourd was taller than her. We have butternut squash seeds that will be coming up amid the mullein soon. Another Cuckoozy gourd. A broccoli that's about to go to seed. I need to grab that. Broccoli has not done wonderful this year, but we're still growing it. They're not our normal large heads of broccoli, but they're growing. I love these alliums. I dug up probably 500 bulbs of these to move them last year. This guy's one of the leftovers who persisted despite my efforts. We're moving on along, we have some volunteer cucamelons and one loofah gourd under there. I sowed seeds here for zucchini rampicante. I'm probably butchering that. And then delicata squash here at the end. And I grew so many tomatoes. I always overdo it. This is a Granny Cantrell's tomato. This is the first year I'm growing these. If we keep going down our little path between the beds here, more potatoes, which I'm hoping we'll get to harvest very soon because I have a lot of sweet potatoes to plant. A volunteer sunflower, which looks like it's going to have quite a bit of anthocyanin in it, which is that dark color. I'm hoping it's going to be a very dark colored flower. More Egyptian walking onions. See how that top is already growing green out? It'll hit the ground and just keep going. Aren't they crazy? I love the way those tops look. Seriously, like even if you don't want to eat the onions, isn't that just beautiful in your garden? Since I saw you last, I planted a cherry tomato here and one here, and I didn't have labels earlier in the season. I'd ran out. So those are either Berry's Crazy Cherry, 10 Fingers of Naples, or blueberries, and we will see what they turn out to be. Here we've got bachelor's buttons and herbs, some sage. The sage has gone to flower. The bachelor button seeded itself from last year. There's an echinacea plant, coneflower. It is also medicinal. Our irises look so beautiful. My mother and my grandmother grew irises, so I inherited these. They remind me of them every time I see them blooming in all their splendor. Some are scented and some are not, but the ones that are scented, y'all, there's nothing. Maybe a lemon tree when it's in flower, but otherwise there's nothing that smells better. Especially this guy here. Where am I? There. Smells so good. Okay, we continue down our path here, following the hose. We've got some oregano, skullcap, 2 types of skullcap. I learned last year there are 2 different kinds. Did you know that? And we're going to follow the wall garden. There's our beautiful sage. Our carrots have gotten bigger since I saw you last. There's our little sprouts getting their secondary leaves. So cute. Scarlet kale also germinated. In our last tour, I was lamenting that I didn't think they were going to grow, but there are much fewer sprouting than I planted. And I'm thinking maybe it was the birds. I didn't see them out here eating seeds, but I sowed so many seeds, and there are only 5 sprouts. These are Nantes half-long carrot seeds, and as we continue down, these are black nebula, and we have a couple dinosaur kale sprouting behind them. Hey dinosaur kale, happy birthday! Continuing down the row, we have cosmic purple carrots, and just like with the kale, the carrot seeds, I planted more carrots than this. Red romaine lettuce, which also hasn't germinated, just a few. You can see those little guys there. And just a few butter gem lettuce there and there in the background. The onions I started from seed are coming along. I don't know still how that's going to go, but they're getting some size to them finally. And would y'all believe These are cabbages. Would y'all believe I've already found 2 white cabbage moth caterpillars yesterday and this morning. I'm going to have to pull these, and we're just going to have to make do with what we get, which is a bummer because I wanted to can quite a bit of sauerkraut with you. It's another cabbage. We have some beets, golden beets, I was trying to remember, and cherry bell radishes. This, see how the leaves look different? We've got a cabbage, and then these more elongated type of leaves. This is a cauliflower, and it's starting to form a head. Very small, but it's there. Cauliflower, cauliflower. These onions are from sets that I got at the feed store. They're doing well. The ones I started from seed, honestly, have almost caught up in size. These are a little bigger. Peppercress. We have onions from last year that are going to seed. Onions are a biannual. And this beet I've buried and buried and buried. But it's also, I believe, going to go to seed. It's from last year. These are celery that I started. Anytime I buy celery from the grocery store, I get organic. I think the flavor is just better. And then I will put them in a shallow dish of water until they form roots. And I plant them. These 2 survive the winter here. So we're going to continue to harvest them. You can even totally cut them to the ground and they will continue to grow. It's one of my favorite seasonings is dried celery, especially the leaves, because usually we just toss the leaves. But they are phenomenal to add to dishes to flavor them. There's no flavor like homegrown celery. No one can convince me store-bought celery is anywhere close. We have some elephant garlic tucked in there. Those just volunteered on their own from leftovers last year. Here are red onions. And then we're back to the herbs and flowers at the end. It's almost time to harvest dill. Future fruits, beauties. Coming up to our next level of the wall garden, there's some volunteer horehound here. A couple zucca gourds that I didn't plant yet. More herbs. We've got dill, thyme, cilantro, and this here is spilanthes, or toothache plant, that I purchased from the local FFA plant sale. There is a cinnamon basil here that I also got at the plant sale. In a moment I'll take you down to show you the tomatoes that replace the sad broccoli. We have 3 rows of potatoes. We have onion sets that are similar to a Vidalia onion. And our cabbages, this is what clued me in, that we already had caterpillars. Do you see those holes? This is a sure sign that you have caterpillars. 1 caterpillar is all that I found, and it was still so small, but they can do so much damage so quickly. Beside the cabbage, I've got some red beets. More cabbages, which have barely started to form a head, and yet I still think I'm going to have to pull them early this year, which the onions would appreciate because I tried something new and they're overshadowed by these big ladies. Cabbages, cabbages, cabbages in kings. These are all from sets, and they're all a Vidalia style onion. If you missed my last garden tour, I will add a link to the video, but these are sweet Vidalia style onions, and we are growing over 650 onions this year. Hopefully we won't have to buy a single one from the store. Moving back along from the front of the bed, we have, there's that cinnamon basil. I'm excited to make tea from that, a cold tea, a chilled iced tea. So then I have a green zebra tomato that I purchased again at, the FFA plant sale. Some Detroit red beet seedlings. This is a Queen of the Night tomato that I purchased at the same plant sale. I'm going to a sale at a local farm nursery this Thursday, and I may see if I can take you along with me. If not, I'll definitely upload a plant haul afterwards. I have some large leaf basil here, and forgive my French, Sartre Rollet, I believe, tomato. All of these that I've just listed are new to me. I haven't grown these before. Tomatoes are one of my favorite varieties of plant to experiment with. So I very quickly overdo it and grow too many and start too many seeds. But this year I'm trying to space them more to get a better harvest, and I'm trying to do less, but it's very hard with tomatoes. This is another new to me. This is a great white tomato. A little basil in the background. Kellogg's Breakfast, which I have grown for the last 4 or 5 seasons since I've gotten more serious about gardening. Love, 10 out of 10, recommend. This is a watermelon beefsteak. I may have grown it last year, but if I did, I don't remember anything special about it, but I'm excited to grow it this year because the fruits are supposed to be really big, hence the name watermelon beefsteak. This I did grow last year. It is a black from Tula. It did well. Dr. Wychees is another tomato variety that I have grown in the past, and this variety, it is said that Dr. Wychee owned a circus and he grew his tomatoes in elephant dung. However he did it, his name has gone down in history for this phenomenal tomato. It makes large yellow beefsteak tomatoes. Then we have basil, some more mullein mixed in with everything. This is a giant Belgium. We have 10 fingers of Napoli, an ant nest because they're terrible this year and last year. Some dark opal basil. Marglobe tomato. I've never grown the 10 fingers or the Marglobe before. Floridade tomato because they're supposed to do well in the heat, and a volunteer tomato behind it. Look at these potatoes going all out. Hope they produce well and quickly. San Marzano I have grown. I grew several of these last year to make spaghetti sauce with. They did well here. Martino's Roma has always done really well for me. Hungarian Heart I have grown for the last 4 or 5 years, and it has done well. I need to grab this broccoli real quick. Even though it has bolted, it'll still be nice in a stir fry. Oh, and one last at the end is Black Beauty, another 10 out of 10. It makes dark purple shoulders. The fruits have dark purple shoulders, and they are just beautiful, taste great. I just love the way they look in a mix of tomatoes in a basket. More basil. Coming around the end here, I have planted Italian striped zucchini. I don't see it coming up yet. Some more dark purple basil, yellow striped neck zucchini, tomato. I think that was a volunteer again. More, who's surprised? Not me, because I grow all the tomatoes. And here in the front, I tucked in some caserta squash, which is like a green squash. It looks like a zucchini. And that is it for this bed, our second wall garden. Alright, let me take you up. Here is our either scuppernong or muscadine that we started from seed. Some daylilies and irises. Here on the front we have a Hawaiian lei, white, pink, yellow, ruffly azalea. And it hasn't flowered yet. I just picked it up last May at a garden expo. I'm excited to see it though. It's going to be stunning. Coming toward our raised bed gardens, we have our green Niagara grape with little fruit pods or buds, fruit buds. I gotta get a trellis for it, and some daylilies that I picked up at that same garden expo. I can't wait to show them to you. They're gonna be amazing. And that giant one here. Coming up on our asparagus bed, I have planted some Hale's Best cantaloupe here that was from the plant sale. Look at the size of this, y'all. Wow, what an asparagus, right? I have some celery that I tried to bury, to be perfectly honest. The bed needed topped off with soil, and they didn't care. They loved it. Here they are, perennial in our zone. We are in zone 8A now. There's a purple asparagus that's ready to be picked. Need to grab that. At this end of the asparagus bed is another basil and another of those cherry tomatoes that is either Berry's Crazy Cherry, blueberries, 10 Fingers of Napoli. Yes, one of those. Some perennial onions, biannual onions. Anyway, second year onions. That's the word I'm trying to find. Some of those Thomas Laxon peas. Here's raised bed number 2. The peas are Love and Life. I'm excited to see if these truly need a trellis or not. This is, gosh, what's the word? That spiral broccoli. Horseradish. Did you know the flowers of horseradish smell like horseradish? I didn't, but now I do. Romanesco broccoli. That's the word. We have some cabbages, Copenhagen market cabbage, red acre cabbage, some purple cauliflower. Coming around bed number 2, we have the first row of carrots I started probably March. Then about 2 weeks later, the second round of carrots, golden beets, those peas. I'm here in the front just to time things in succession. So about the time these are getting pulled, I believe I planted either Zucchino Rampicante or Delicata here. Here are the first flowers. Bed number 3. We have broccoli. Some are Green Magic that I picked up at the feed store, and some are ones that I started from seed. I learned a hard lesson this year that when you start broccoli from seed, it is really hard to get a big head. There's some lemon balm tucked in the middle because lemon balm could not care at all. A few potatoes left over from the fall. Some of those infinite onions. A few garlic and some potatoes from the fall that popped back up. Bed number 4 is a mix of broccoli that I started, which we've been just kind of using as sprouted broccoli. The heads are small, not what we're used to growing. We're used to harvesting, gosh, 8 to 10 inch heads of broccoli, just enormous, beautiful heads of broccoli. And some of these may get that way. We did pick up a few from the feed store. But for the most part, they're quite small, as you can see. This one here is one of the larger ones, and it's still quite small, but you know, as we talked about in the last garden tour, we'll still use it. It's still edible. The whole plant's edible. The whole plant is edible, though. We will absolutely use the leaves to make a greens powder. You can dehydrate it. You can freeze dry it if you know, have the privilege of owning one. Celery, some lettuce. I usually cut lettuce, even if it's a heading lettuce, I usually cut it. This year, I just was really curious to see if we could get some heads of lettuce before the heat causes them to bolt. Got some red mustard, a mix of spring blush peas. We have red Russian kale. Where am I? Red Russian kale, dinosaur kale, Mizuna mustard, which is, if you like spicy, like horseradish, delicious. Can recommend. It just doesn't like even the slightest amount of heat. I harvested from it yesterday and it's already flowering again. Moving from bed 4 across the archway, we have our new row. I'd love to eventually have this whole section with beds, because who doesn't want more garden? More garden good, yes. Some Hale's Best Cantaloupe and a couple cherry tomatoes again. So these will hopefully take over this archway. The last 3 years we have grown cantaloupe of some kind. I believe the last couple of years was ambrosia cantaloupe. So good. And the thing that I really love about the cantaloupe is that when it's ripe, it just falls off. So there's no guesswork. Obviously you don't want it to bust, but we've only had that happen once. And we don't put any kind of sling on them. Now, watch this be the year that changes. Watch them all bust. But so far, that's not been an issue. And our final bed in the front row, bed 5. These are purple sprouting broccoli, and I have not harvested anything from these yet, but the plants are looking gorgeous. Got some wildflower mix, some red clover, some sweet alyssum. Now these I have harvested from. These are probably mostly ones that I started, which I, Lord willing, won't be doing again. I'll be budgeting to purchase my brassica, not all brassica, kale's fine, but broccoli and cauliflower and even cabbage. I had cabbage starts that bolted under the heat, on the heat mat, as they were just getting started. And maybe that was my bad, but I was perplexed. I just harvested yesterday, so if you missed that video, I can link it in the description box. But that's it. I'm excited. One of the beautiful things about living in the southern United States is how quickly things can grow here. In just a week, things can change so much. It's a beautiful place to garden. So thank y'all for coming along with me for the second garden tour of this season, and I look forward to sharing all that is to come with all of you. Thank y'all for touring with me our second week of the spring 2025 garden, and tune in next week when we see how things rapidly change here in the southern US.